Hello, Taurus, and welcome to your December 2019 ASMR Tarot Forecast. So, pardon me, I have a bit of a frog in my throat. I do have my pendulum. It's a citrine pendulum, and that is in case I need to clarify anything. And I will be using this pack of tarot cards this month. It's a psychedelic tarot card deck. Psychedelic. I do want to apologize for not having done a reading for your sign for last month, but Leo through Pisces missed out on readings in October because of some things that came up in my life. They weren't bad. It was just transitional. And so I wanted to make sure that they got the readings they deserved in November. But this month I will be back on my normal schedule. It's like your aura is this fluffy cloud, and then inside of it, sometimes I see these they're like metal shaving fragments, and I'm trying to pluck those out. Those are all the negative feelings, all the dark attachments. It's like pulling burrs out of your wool that you are spinning. All right, Taurus, let's begin. So, I really like these cards. I will probably go back to using the transparent ones at some point. But I want to mix it up too. I don't want it to just be the exact same every time. And I really like these because of the beautiful psychedelic imagery, and I have to use them a lot because they cost quite a bit of money for a tarot deck. All right. So what jumped out? All right, Taurus, what jumped out? The Tower, the Two of Wands, and the Knight of Swords. You are rushing headlong into this destructive change, possibly through an argument. Swords are all about your communication and your logic. It's not going to be a bad thing, of course. And I also have your Two of Wands here. I think you have a very clear idea of the situation. I think you're very much able to see what's going on. feel like Taurus always has a lot of jumpers. All right. I feel like that's not enough. Oh my goodness. All right. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So I'm going to put the spread on the table facing you. So whatever the cards are facing this way, that's going to be their orientation. It's going to be like this. All right. Okay, so what do we have here? What do we have here, Taurus? Do you have any specific areas of your life that you like to see improve or that you're curious about in December? It's the end of the year. All right. We have the Six of Wands in verse, which is a victory deferred, possibly, or possibly it's an area in which you are victorious, but you feel like a failure. We also have the Two of Swords, so there's a choice, maybe, that you have made that led to your victory, and maybe you didn't like the choice that you made. Maybe, let's see, maybe it has to do with someone else's choice and how that made you feel in regards to this. So it's not necessarily that you haven't been victorious, but I think more about your emotional states surrounding that. And most importantly, there was definitely some choice, and either it was your choice or someone else made a choice. So let's see. The past. In the past, we have the Sun from the Major Arcana, which is a very good card. This is all about happy outcomes, being in the sun, experiencing the light of the sun, shining down upon you and creating vitamin D. And we have here in the current state, we have the Page of Cups. Now, the Page of Cups does have the potential to be very precocious and someone who offers readily what is in their cup. In this case, it's the head of the snake, but they offer their emotions very freely. And because this card is in verse, in the inverse, I feel like maybe you've offered your emotions too freely. And now you've been hurt by it. Yeah. I can kind of see it. Okay. Right. Two more. Oh, one more. Okay. That was in there kind of densely. Let's fluff it back up again. Okay. Yeah, let's fluff it back up again. Okay. All right. And let's see about the future. So here in the future, we have the Seven of Pentacles, which often bespeaks some kind of discontent about your work, whatever your job is, however you are making money. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. I hope that wasn't too loud. Let's see the goal or outcome. So this is the Four of Swords, and I find it very interesting that they put this keyhole shape up in the top. That's kind of a recurring theme, the keys and the holes. The Four of Swords is a card about taking a respite. The Four of Cups is more like you have options and you're not using them. The Four of Swords is definitely this sense that you are taking a break. It's not as final as a death, but it is almost like a death. It's like you are ceasing that activity for some time. Let's find out how long. I think for you it will be a much needed break. We have here is your interactions with the world. And in fact, we have here the Justice card from the Major Arcana. And when I see the Justice card in verse, it tells me that you are not content with how things turned out and you feel like you have been treated unjustly. We have here this card is how the world perceives you. And I have here the King of Pentacles, which is pretty much like the most successful person in this tarot deck, other than possibly the Emperor, who is in the major arcana. But as far as financial success is concerned, and of course, Taurus, you as an earth sign, definitely people perceive you as being on top of your game and quite secure. Now, as far as your hopes and fears are concerned, we have the Four of Wands, which is often referred to as a marriage card, and is about a happily ever after type situation. So not like an ending. The tens are really like the endings. But the Four of Wands is like, and they lived happily ever after, and then the sequel occurs. So you just are looking for your happily ever after. And then the outcome of this reading. You are psyching yourself out. I feel like a lot of the tarot readings that I give, I talk a lot about how so many of people's problems are perceived. It's not an actual problem. It's just that you've gotten so far inside your head about it that you cannot enjoy your success. The success, that occurred in the past. Maybe you're comparing too much these situations and it's not justified. Maybe these are just two completely different scenarios. And in order to really, really get the most out of your current situation, yes, in order to get the most out of your current situation, you will have to come to terms with what your present actually looks like and not how you wish that it looked. I feel like this represents you wishing that it would look a certain way. So let's see if there is a way to change your perception. So right now, the pendulum is swinging. To me, it is in a counterclockwise fashion. I believe that is accurate. So I want you to think about all of the things that you are discontent with in your life. Think about all of the things that you wish were going differently for you right now, okay? Think about them, and then I'm going to get this swinging in a big arc. All right. The size of that circle represents all of these things that you wish were going differently. And now, while you have all of those things in your mind, think about your most successful day. Think about the day when you felt like you had really, whatever this situation was, think about that. Think about that. All right. So we've got all of those discontents that you're comparing to that situation. And now I want you to imagine how you would feel if all of those things that you're discontent about were now your most successful day. All right. And as you can see, it's really not that bad. To actually have some of these things work out in a way that you wouldn't necessarily have planned. All right. So, whatever this is, anytime that you think about something and you wish that it had gone differently, I want you to think about this situation and think about how it went and how you felt and everything that went into planning it and why you felt this way about it. And perhaps you will find that indeed all of this is just you getting too far in your headspace. It's very interesting that the Four of Swords is upright here and the Nine of Swords is in verse. The Nine of Swords definitely being all about like your worry and your concern, but also I think as a spoiler and not a good reason to take time away from something, especially if it's something that you love. All right, Taurus. Well, thank you so much for your time. I hope that you've enjoyed this reading, and I hope to see you again soon for January of 2020 and your yearly prediction.